Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to a little bit of a walk and talk. It's Monday morning, so everybody's somewhat excited about that. Some people are not. It's Monday, and got a whole week ahead of us. So keep plugging away, whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to accomplish. It's a nice convertible, huh? An update on yesterday's Hacker scored, I think it was 3,700 kills. I don't know if he was number one, but he was certainly in the top 5 of his skill group. So certainly he's excited, and I'm excited for him. He did well. He took aim. He took his time. He didn't get nervous. His trigger finger was steady, and he made sure what he was shooting at was in fact the target. A lot of times your emotions will take over, which will cause you to incorrectly function in this environment. This is a very loud road besides me. And these big trucks are not helping this video whatsoever. So I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. And today I'm going to if I want to get home, it's going to be about just short of 6-mile walk today. So I'm excited about that. Try to keep this. I'm using my not joystick. I always say joystick, but a selfie stick today for this particular walk. So if the video is shaking or wobbling or moving up and down, causing you to lose your equilibrium or get dizzy, please shut it off. Safety is number one, and your safety is number one. If you think you can handle it, just sit down and watch this video. That might help as well. If you're sitting and you lose your balance or your equilibrium, at least you'll already be sitting in a position and won't hit the floor. Today in history, in 44 BC, Julius Caesar was assassinated by his senators and a group of lawmakers. They say he was stabbed a number of times, quite a few number of times, but only one of the stab wounds proved to be deadly. So everybody else was just going through the motions, I guess. But there was one gentleman who really wanted Julius Caesar dead. He was getting out of control. They thought he had too much power. He started to make some laws that were very unethical to some of the Romans at the time. Plus, he overthrew the Roman Empire and then proceeded to make it a dictatorship. So he had a lot of things going for him as well as against him. And today in history, in 44 BC. BC is before Christ. You might see it as BCE. And the BCE is just, it has to do with the Georgian or the Gregorian calendar, which is the civil calendar used throughout the world still today. You can Google the Gregorian calendar if you want. I did. I read it. I read it a few times and still can't quite figure it out. But it's interesting. It's a calendar that's still in use today. Like the hectares, some things are still, still in use today. Today, Maine became the 23rd state. The state of Maine today in 1820 became the 23rd state of the United States of America. So congratulations to our friends from Maine. Is it Maine is for lovers, or is it Virginia is for lovers? I think it's Virginia. Everybody else is just pretending. Virginia is the only ones that are really doing it right, I guess. Coming up on the left is the Yeti company. I don't know if it's the world headquarters of Yeti, but Yeti is those people who make those thermos cans, I think. See? Yeti. And they make the containers to keep your liquids cold, or in some cases hot, when you're out in the bush, camping, mountain climbing, rock climbing, canoeing, kayaking, speed walking, just taking a walk like I'm doing. Whatever outdoors, when you're away from your refrigerator and your kitchen table, a Yeti will be there to help you keep your beverage at the right temperature as you embark on your adventure. So thank you to the Yeti Corporation. I don't know what we'd do without you. In 1916, General Pershing and 15,000 soldiers chased that Mexican Pancho Villa back into Mexico. I think this was the result of the Alamo fiasco. And they got everybody that was able to hold a gun or own a gun, joined the forces. Backlash and the people were so upset with what happened at the Alamo that I think this was the result. 15,000 soldiers, civilians, anybody who could hold a weapon. And they pushed that Pancho Villa back to Mexico. And I heard when he got back to Mexico, I think he was put on trial. He got in some big trouble from the Mexican government because he wasn't supposed to start all that trouble over there in the Alamo. He wasn't supposed to do it. The United States and Mexico were in talks, were in treaties or contracts. And this guy blew off like a hot cannon, and it didn't end well for him or anybody else at the Alamo. So that was a lot of times you'll see in your cities, you'll see Pershing Square. And Pershing Square is named after this particular general who led the troops to chase Pancho Villa back into Mexico in 1916. In 1955, the Air Force first self-guided missile. 1955. The Air Force premiered or showcased or let everybody know about a self-guided missile. Truly a breakthrough in warfare, modern warfare. I bet they were wetting their pants when they discovered that they could have a self-guided missile in their arsenal of destruction. So here's some of the weather-related damage you see all over Texas now. They're cleaning it up. The temperatures, and did a lot of damage to a lot of trees and plants, as you've seen in previous videos or on your local newscasts. 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson addressed the full Senate and Congress and talked about a voting Bill of Rights, voting rights for all. And it was the famous line from a famous, black activist. I'm not going to try to guess which one. If I'm not sure, I'll just tell you I'm not sure. And we shall overcome. And in August of August.
Time 1 hour 18 minutes 31 seconds 4.0 miles. Average pace 19 minutes 37 seconds per mile. Split pace 19 minutes 43 seconds per mile.
The same year, 1965, on August 6th, the voting rights were signed into law. And what that was, it was just a simple law with big implications. But it guaranteed the right of everybody to vote. And if you've been reading the papers or listening to any kind of current events, you know, states like Georgia are trying to roll that back and make it difficult, make it harder for people to vote. They want to do away with absentee ballots for people that are under the age of 65. You have to get a witness when you vote. I couldn't believe this. Some states you have to have a witness just to vote. They want to shorten the voting hours, and they want to usually the black churches will vote on Sunday, and then they'll get in the bus and they'll all go to the voting polls together, sort of like a field trip, a voting field trip. And they want to do away with that as well. So they want to make it extremely difficult. They want to make it hard. They want to make it inconvenient and uncomfortable to cast a vote. And it's just, it's a shame. Your democracy or your republic is kind of being eroded, chipped away. Black people don't normally vote for Republicans, and Republicans in these state houses, well, if you're not going to vote for us, we'll make it difficult for you to vote. So it's kind of sad, kind of a shame. You know, we already have a Voting Rights Act, and people want to change that and bring it back. And, you know, so it's the same place in every other country in the world. There are people that get in control and they don't like what's going on. Even though they know it's wrong, they'll do it anyway, just to retain power and power. And it's, well, it's something we would never have believed in America. But it's happening. And what else can you say? In 1972, on a happier note, in 1972, The Godfather was premiered. The famous Godfather film. I believe it would be the first Godfather. There's been several movies. I can't keep track. James Caan is a great actor. I was sad to see him get blown away at the toll booth. I'd like to see him, you know, not be one of the actors that got taken out in that movie. Look at that beautiful car. Wow. Nice. Look at that. That's a Pontiac, see? That's when everybody used to buy Pontiacs. It was before Toyota and Nissan. That's a beautiful automobile. Big engine, big engine. Convertible too. Beautiful automobile. And you can tell that gentleman has a garage. So in 1972, The Godfather by Francis Coppola. Now he's a wine engineer and a winery owner up in Northern California in Sonoma County. He's up there. He made so much loot from those Godfather movies that he didn't have to bother getting behind sitting in the director chair ever again, which is just a wonderful. Do what you have to do to make your money, and then do whatever you want and enjoy your money. So The Godfather. Yeah, that was a good scene too when James Caan beat the brother-in-law with the garbage pail. He really did a job on him. Great scene. It really looked like he was beating the you-know-what out of him. And speaking of beating a you-know-what out of him, in 1991, 4 LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department officers were charged with the beating of Rodney King, a black resident of Los Angeles. He was pulled over, and there was some miscommunication. I don't know, I wasn't there, but it resulted on a 3 or a 4-on-1 with nightsticks, and there was a resident that just happened to be here. I'm walking through a church. There are a lot of churches in Texas. So I'm just gonna cut through here and make my way back. The result was they were found not guilty in Simi Valley. If you don't know about Simi Valley, Simi Valley is a community right outside Los Angeles, not too far from the Reagan Library. And a lot of police officers live there. It's like the real Copland. That movie with Sylvester Stallone, Copland, and about an enclave in New Jersey or across the river from Manhattan. Rapitar was in there. Rapitar, the actor. They were trying to get rid of him. And anyway, Simi Valley, I think is that where they put the trial? I think they moved the trial to Simi Valley. I'm not sure now, so you'll have to do your own research. Anyway, they were found guilty. They were charged today in 1991, I think it is. 1991, yeah. And they were eventually acquitted of the charges, all 4 of them. And but it was hard on their lives. Their lives were not the same. It was terribly, terribly stressful when you go on trial for anything. And the attention, and I think they lost their jobs at the police department. And they always say the same thing, well, we have to look at the training, And it's just, I think it's a falsehood to look at the training. You can't train somebody not to be violent, and you can't train somebody not to be afraid. You can't train somebody not to be a racist. You just hope all people in their jobs and occupations do a good job. And there's always going to be people that fall short. I haven't always been a great employee. But then again, I didn't have a gun. Or I didn't have a scalpel. Or I wasn't driving a train. Or an airplane. Or flying an airplane. So certain jobs, you really have to pay attention and do a good job. Or else the outcome can be just disastrous. There I go again, butchering the English language. Anyway, that's all I have today for things that happen in history. And I'm just, I forgot to tell you what temperature is. Feels like it's got to be about 75. I was gonna look before I started the video, but that didn't happen. So I hope you have a good day, a good week. And it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. And what can I say? All right, over and out.